Well, here we are.
Are we live?
We're live.
Are you
Another week.
alive, Dan?
Yes, I am barely alive. Yes, I'm there.
Okay, we're going live on TikTok too, you guys. Okay, right now. Boom.
Barely.
Live on TikTok. Hi guys, Kat Howard here with Windermere in Woodinville. Talking all things real estate with Dan Mellis. Thanks for joining us. Hey, you guys on TikTok, pop in with questions. Would love to hear from you. Last week or last 2 weeks ago, we missed last week. 2 weeks ago, that was a lot of fun answering some of your questions. Really enjoyed that. And you Facebookers, if you would just DM me or comment your questions, then we can address those next week when we're live. So,
There we go.
So anyway,
you know what the big news for this week is, Kat?
What's the big news, Dan?
The big news.
The big news. What's the big news?
There is a very special listing in Puyallup. Very special. And I thought we should take a look at it.
You don't say.
I do. I do say. Let's take a look.
Is it that one at 6922 124th Street East in Puyallup, Washington?
It
the one with the attached 3-bay shop. It's over.
Yes.
It's almost 1,300 square foot shop with an extra tall garage door there for like parking a boat or an RV. It's got an extra woodworking room and an additional 2 bays. And then there's another 1-car attached garage. No kidding, on the other end of the house. So there's 2 driveways from 2 different streets. And then you have the over 2,000 square foot Rambler, which boasts 3 bedrooms and a bonus room. The bonus room has wood ceilings and is absolutely gorgeous. Could be used as a bedroom. It does have a closet. And then we've got an over 500 square foot family room, living area, 500 square foot, over 500 square foot living area that's got vaulted ceilings, 6 skylights, lots of windows, and beautiful modern hardwood flooring throughout the entire home, updated bathrooms. The kitchen is brand new with brand new cabinets. It's got chevron style butcher block countertops, just gorgeous. So anyway, in this video, you'll be able to see those. Anyway, it's well appointed, beautiful new light fixtures. It's a gorgeous house for $600,000 in Puyallup, Washington.
Wow. So, let's play the video real quick.
Play the video, yeah.
Because you know what? The music is very soothing, too. It's very nice.
Don't go to sleep, guys.
Oh, look who's listening. Oh, my goodness. Look at that.
So my daughter, Michelle Cook, met these people through TikTok. And so we decided that we were going to co-list it. So her name's on the sign because it was her contact. But other than that, we're sharing the listing. And it's been fun so far. Held it open on Saturday. Had 6 groups through. So pretty fun. Pretty good turnout on Saturday.
Wow. Well, that is a good turnout. How long was the open house open for on Saturday?
2 hours.
2 hours. That's a perfect time. Yeah.
2 hours. Yeah. I think it was 11:30 to 1:30. Everybody was pretty excited about the shop area. So I don't expect that it'll be on the market much longer.
Yeah.
So we just
that's a cool thing to have a shop like that. How big is the shop again? Like 1,400?
It's like 1,292 square feet. It's enormous. It's got 3 bays, and one of them is the full depth of the building, so like 32 feet deep, I believe. And then behind the 2 other bays, there's a workshop, over 300 square foot workshop. So, and then there's the other 1-car garage over off the kitchen area. So,
nice.
Yeah, just lots and lots of storage. great space if you're a car enthusiast or you have a need to park work vehicles in a secure area. I think it's a great property. And to have the shop attached, that's a thing of beauty. The shop itself has a half bath inside. So,
Wow.
you can, get a glass of water, you can clean up, use the restroom. So it's pretty handy, There's a lot to love about this property. And the driveways, there's lots and lots and lots of off-street parking. So, and there still is a couple of fenced areas in the yard. A lot of that yard area obviously is chewed up by the shop and driveway, but you still do have fenced backyards. So you've got one that's attached to the house and one that's detached from the house. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Anyway, that was a fun one to hold open this weekend.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, we were going over the stats beforehand also, before the show. And I thought it was really interesting what's going on with, the stats over the last month or so. We're talking about it, is that the stats have been really tight. And at the same time, you're seeing more inventory come on the market. So we're being matched with more buyers coming on in pretty much the same ratio as the number of new houses coming on the market.
Yeah,
much,
so
right?
the numbers aren't changing dramatically. I would say MSI is still coming down in certain areas. Kitsap County is holding their own, but their market is picking up quite well. Snohomish County is clicking along at about the same pace, but their inventory actually has dropped to less than 0.6 now, less than 0.6 months supply of inventory. King County has come back down. Their month supply of inventory is back down to 0.8. Skagit County, I'm not sure what happened up there a week ago, but Skagit, and I'm just going to throw this out there really quick. 58% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days. That is one heck of a hot market in Skagit County.
They took the wings.
It just took off like a shot, and hardly anybody has offer review dates set. So I'm sure they ran into some offer review days or some other competing offers up there. Hi, Amanda. I saw Amanda just came on. Anyway, so I'm sure in Skagit County that quite a few of those buyers that tried to buy homes in that first 7 days on the market, I'm sure quite a few of them ran into multiple offers. It may be a situation if that market continues up there in Skagit County, that those sellers may want to start considering setting offer review dates for the nicer homes that come on the market. So.
And how's Snohomish doing? Speaking of Amanda, hello, Amanda.
All right, let's talk statistics really quick.
Let's talk statistics.
Let's talk Snohomish County stats. So Snohomish County, a little less than 0.6 months supply of inventory in Snohomish County. So very, very tight market there. That's the lowest amount of inventory that we've had in Snohomish County in quite some time. So, and we've got, we're starting with Snohomish. Normally we start with King. That's okay. Almost had me going there. So I have a couple of other stats I want to throw out there besides my traditional stats. The average sales price year over year from February 2022 to February, year over year stats for average sales price for Snohomish County from February 2023 to February 2024, the average sales price is up about, 13%. So it's up about 13%. So pretty incredible, especially since the Seattle Times just said that we basically had a year over year loss. Sorry, Seattle Times. I can't help it.
And how much is it up again year over year? Did you say 13% were up?
13% average sales price, right? And so the average price per square foot is also up, and so is the median sales price. So, I think the average was the highest, but, bottom line is that average sales prices in Snohomish County are up dramatically. As a matter of fact, I've got my handy dandy, my stats book, the one I'm using right now. I'm almost done with it. So let me tell you. So median sales price was up 10.5%. And then if I look at price per square foot, and this is average price per square foot, we've got an increase of 6.1%. So it, that's impacted obviously by the size of the homes that sold in general. And we're talking 1 month over 1 month. So we're not talking about a terrible large number of listings. So our data pool is kind of small. So that the average sales price is probably a good, and the median sales price is a probably good gauge as to how much the market actually has increased year over year. So
Right.
I think you can safely say that in February this year, you would have paid at least 10% more for the same home this year than you would have last year. So thanks for the hearts, guys. So anyway, yeah, Snohomish County, rocking and rolling, not slowing down at all.
King's rocking and rolling too, right?
Well, we're not done with Snohomish. I just
Oh,
got
we're
started.
done with Snohomish. Oh, sorry about
So
that.
we've got 261 listings on the market. That's a total. And we've got 67%. Is that right? It is right. So Snohomish County has finally decided that everybody should start setting offer review dates. So 67% of sellers in Snohomish County set offer review dates this time in the last 7 days. So the agents and the sellers have finally caught on. I've been telling you guys for months now. Get those offer review dates rolled out. It's time. The market's been hot in Snohomish County for several months. Well, I mean, it was hot in December, let's face it. Okay, so we've got 61% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days if they listed their home between February 25th and March 2nd. And this is a big number. 74% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market in Snohomish County if they listed their home between February 11th and February 24th. So those are big numbers for Snohomish County. They're maybe not the maximum, the peak for the year. They're very, very close. So Snohomish County cooking right along, probably somewhat reflective of what the current or the recent interest rates were during those timeframes, right? So interest rates tick up a little and the market slows a tad, interest rates come down a tad, and then the market ticks up a bit. So that's kind of, just a knee-jerk reaction to what's going on with interest rates. So
based on your experience, how much more do you think that the 73%, how much higher do you think it could go?
I think it's going to depend on the number of listings coming on the market and the number of listings coming on the market. Did I tell you that number? I didn't. I missed one number. Oh my God, I'm going to blow your guys' mind. This is a big number. So this year there are 31% more new listings coming on the market in February than there were last year. 31% more. So part of that is some people have decided that we got to get over it, the interest rate situation, and we need to move up. We're a move up buyer. We need a larger home for our family. That's part of it. The rest of it, I'm not sure, but 31% more listings this year. And that does not include new construction, attached townhomes or condos or manufactured homes. So those are strictly detached single family homes.
Wow.
But the inventories, I mean, it's not the inventory, but it's actually the new listings coming on the market are up 31% for February. So we'll see what happens in March. But February, that's significant. That's 1/3.
Yeah, that is a big number.
And and to be fair, what's interesting is that we've got enough buyers out there that we're absorbing that. Our actually month supply of inventory is lower this year than it was last year. So there are actually more buyers in the market this year than last year, by a long shot. And I'm not joking. I mean, there's a lot of buyers out there making offers on properties.
Well, that's sign that we're starting to get some health returning to the market, because it really was suppressed quite a bit for the last year.
Well, everybody had PTSD from the rising interest rates, right? Nobody, it's hard to digest the fact that 6 months earlier, you could, especially later 2022, we thought, oh my gosh, I could have refinanced at 3%, and all of a sudden, there's no shot at refinancing, right? So that gets pretty tough, because some people might have wanted to do a cash out refi. So Anyway, so that's Snohomish County, but Snohomish County really got a very, very, very strong real estate market going. It's a great time to go on the market. There's a very good chance that you're going to get multiple offers. As a matter of fact, let me share some more statistics. I pulled so many statistics for you guys. I have so much information. We're not going to get through all of it today, but I just want to share some of the fun stuff. So 52% of sellers got over list price for their homes in the last 30 days. So of closed. So that's 30-day to 60-day old data. So over half the sellers got more than asking price for their homes in the last 30 days, closed sales.
Is this for Snohomish County?
It's Snohomish County. We're sticking with Snohomish, Dan.
Okay.
So the maximum amount a seller got over asking price in that 0 to 30 days of closed sales was 33%. So think of that for a second. Now, our average price home in Snohomish County is upper 8s, lower 9s. So think about what does 33% look like on a $900,000 home?
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Over $300,000. So anyway, that's actually about what it is 300,000.
That's it. You know what that is? That's a lot of shares of Microsoft stock that got sold.
That's a lot of shoe boxes.
It's a lot of shoe boxes. Yes, that's right.
A lot of shoes. Anyway, hi Vidi. Vidi's joining us just as I bring up the topic of shoes. If only I had enough room for all of mine. Anyway, so yeah, not all the homes are going that far over asking, and I can tell you we got 12% of sellers last month or in the last 30 days got at least 10% over asking price. So 12% of sellers got at least 10% over. Now, again, let's go back to that $900,000 home. So 12% of sellers got at least $90,000 over asking price. So big payday for a large percentage of sellers.
Yeah.
And to be a little more accurate, 28% of sellers got at least 5% or more over asking price. So again, going back to that $900,000 home, you got 28% of sellers that got at least $45,000 over asking price. So, and that's again 30 to 60 day old data. That's not what's happening now, guys. That's not what's happening. I promise you, we are going way more than 5 to 10% over.
So this is going back a few weeks.
This is going back, 4 to 6 weeks negotiations. So it's important when you're thinking about statistics to put them in a relevant time frame. And so we have to remember that, the numbers that I just talked about when it comes to how many sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market, that data is only 7 to 14 days old. That is some of the most recent data that we've got. Wow. Which is very, very recent, by the way. That's as good as you're going to get out there. The other thing I can tell you, which is also very interesting for Snohomish County. Sorry, I've got so much. So Snohomish County, I believe it's the only county where I believe Snohomish County is the only county where the number of listings that went under contract exceeded the number of listings that came on the market last week. So this would be reflective of literally 0 to 7 days last week. So interestingly, Snohomish County had 108 listings come on the market last week. We had 115 go under contract in the last 7 days. Wow. So what that tells me is we're chewing up inventory even as we start to get towards spring here in Snohomish County. So that less than 0.6 months, it's actually like 0.57 months supply of inventory. That's likely to go down next week, which is incredible. I don't know how much lower we can actually go before we start to see 90% of homes getting sold in the first 7 days, which is kind of where we were 2 years ago, right? April 2022, guys. You remember that, don't you? 20, 40 offers on a house. I was a professional offer writer. Came in second so many times, I can't believe it. 40 offers. Jeez. Anyway, won a few actually, but that's a tough market. So you're looking at bully offers. That's the way to go. So don't get me started on bully offers, because that's where we're headed, guys. You're not going to win in competition. There's too much cash. Too much cash out there.
Too much cash.
I'm not
Wow.
kidding. There's a heck of a lot of cash out there. You list a house and you're likely to see a cash offer. If it's one of the shiny objects, it's a very good chance you'll see a cash offer. You know, especially if you wind up with 5 offers. But a lot of cash. It doesn't even matter what price point. So anyway, I mean, as listing agents, we love cash. Bring it on. But when you're a buyer and you're competing, it can be very, very disconcerting. And the only way really to beat out cash is to charge in with a bully offer right when that listing comes on the market, so that you have a fighting chance. And what a bully offer looks like is, you're 10, 20, you're probably 20, 22% over asking right now to get a bully offer accepted. You could try as low as 15, 17%, depending on your market and your niche. But I would say to get a bully offer accepted on the shiny object, right? The modern hardwood flooring, doesn't need anything. It's in a nice neighborhood of, attractive homes and nice school districts and all the things that buyers want. You're looking at probably coming in over 20% to get your offer accepted. But again, you want to rely on your agent to make that judgment call, not me, because I don't know what specific neighborhood you're looking at. So anyway, but that would be expected in some of the closer in neighbor, Kirkland, Bothell area. You might expect that.
As we were talking modern flooring, I had to switch to the new background. It's because it's got great modern flooring.
Did you do that?
Yes, I did. I switched to the modern background. Yes.
So for you guys that just joined us, my name is Kat Howard with Windermere Real Estate in Woodinville, Washington, and I'm joined by Dan Mellis with Nexa Mortgage, and he's out of Renton. And we do this once a week. We get together and we start to chat real estate. I put together some stats for the region. We cover 6 counties, don't we, Dan?
Yes, we do. We do.
King, Snohomish, Pierce, Skagit, Mason, and Kitsap. And I have a particular interest in every single one of those for one reason or another. And that's why we extend our statistics to those areas as well. We also like to talk investments, and some investment areas are more liquid or more cash. They cash flow better further out. So like Grays Harbor, Kitsap County can be a better place to invest in multifamily. So there you have it. So do we want to move on to King County?
Yeah, that would be great.
What do you think? So Snohomish County had all the slick data, it's kind of got the best of everything right now for the most part. But okay.
Well,
so
King's not far behind. King's right there. King County's right there with Snohomish. It's very close.
King County, you know what? King County, if we're talking about a race to who can have the better sellers market, King County is giving Snohomish County a run for its money. So King County has 0.8 months supply of inventory. So, and that's ticked back from 0.9. So King County inventory tightening a bit, just like Snohomish County. Not surprising. Year over year, February 2023 to February 2024, we've had 17% increase in the average sales price in King County. Let that sink in a minute.
Was that 17%?
17% year over year. Again, Seattle Times, the market didn't go down.
What's so amazing about that is that we're already starting from a pretty high base. I mean, it's not like prices in King County are dirt cheap to begin with, And
no, we're definitely started at an elevated base, and it's demand. It's actually sheer demand is what's happening here. because interest rates are still, 6-7%. They really haven't come down much, come down a little bit from the highs in October, but we're still, if you get FHA, you might be able to get 6.25. If you're doing conventional, you're probably more upper sixes.
Yeah, that's
lower sevens, just depending on credit score and things like that. But
yeah, if you'd like, we have an opening here at Nexa Mortgage, and we need a sharp tack like you to be able to help with some of the borrowers that we've got with the rates and all that kind of stuff. So I'm making this opportunity for you. If you ever want to become a loan officer, ever get tired of being a realtor, you have a position, a job waiting for you here at Nexa Mortgage.
Dan, that's just one of the most generous offers I've ever heard. I'm just going to have to give that one some thought. No,
you don't have to think about that one.
I don't think so, Dan. I got a great. I want you guys. You got to be the bad guy and talk about the numbers, how much money they make, and all that. So I don't have to get into that. That's your job.
I'm telling you, this at some point this spring, you're going to be getting into the 43rd consecutive silver medal for writing offers, and you're going to say, Danny, that offers is still on the. No, I'm sorry.
I'm feeling like it's going to happen, Dan. I have already gotten. I got a buyer into a house this last week. Got another one listed. I've got clients that I'm making things happen for, but I got to tell you,
I've got
buyer, it's dicey. I can tell you stories this year.
I know you can. And I was jesting earlier, but in all seriousness, we should talk about that borrower that you got into the home, because that was a thing of beauty.
Last week. Yeah. It was interesting. This house had been on the market for hundreds of days. Let's just say that. And it was in fine condition. They had done a beautiful remodel. It essentially had 2 living areas, but it was just really pretty. But there were some inherent difficulties with the property. But overall, just a great property. They started too high a long time ago. Let's just say over 6 months ago. And they came down, and the last price reduction was in the fall, and not late in the fall. It was almost before fall started. And they hadn't reduced price since. But by the time we got around to seeing it, an offer had already come in. And I looked at my buyer and I went, okay, so you're not going to, because I had just stood there in the middle of the lawn and told him as we were going to go in it, I said, as it happens, I know this one's been on the market a while, but as it happens, when one person is interested, often there's more than one buyer interested. So I know that doesn't seem logical, but that is often what happens. Because, the market is probably caught up to the seller at that point, right? So the market has kind of caught up a bit to that particular property, given the spring market. And so one offer had come in, and it had come in low because, again, it had been on the market for so long. So the seller opted to let that one go. We opted to not compete because, again, it had been on the market for a long time. We had the opportunity to then submit our offer. And of course, we didn't come in at full price either because, again, it'd been on the market for so long, and we felt like, the value wasn't quite there, but it's just really close. And so then while the seller is looking at our offer and she's getting ready to sign a counter for us, a phone call comes in saying that, in fact, they have somebody who has just been in the property that morning, and they're going to take a second look that day. And then they think they're going to write an offer. Well, so the seller ignores our offer, so we don't even get a counter. This stuff happens, you guys. I got to tell you, you just don't think it will, and then it does. So here we are 4 days later, and the seller's decided that she can entertain our offer after she does get that third offer, and it also is low and less than her expectations. So at that point, we did get a counteroffer. We did get mutual acceptance. My clients are deliriously over the moon, and they got a good value on that property for sure. So without giving away too many of the details. But that was tricky. It required a lot of patience. it's obviously everybody's in a state of high emotions, and it's easy to get really pissed off when the seller ignores your offer and doesn't even provide you with a counter. Negotiating in good faith would suggest that if a seller has a reasonable offer on the table, that it does deserve a counter offer, even if it's at full price.
Right.
So that particular situation required a lot of restraint on my part.
So later on in something to look forward to maybe on this live stream, but would you like to talk about negotiating in good faith at some point?
Oh, geez, Dan, funny that you should bring that topic up of negotiating in good faith and what that means for buyers, sellers, and other agents.
I was just idle curiosity. That's all. I just wondering.
Well, sometimes my topics are generated by a recent experience. I try not to get too much into the specifics of the transaction, but I thought it warranted mentioning and defining what negotiating in good faith means to buyers, sellers, and brokers in Washington state. And I think that not enough of us are aware of what it means.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's circle back, if we can, to that, and let's get to Pierce.
Let's finish King. We haven't even started King.
Oh, we haven't even started.
So listen. So this number is going to blow your mind. This is a big number for King County. There are 45% more new listings in February this year than February last year. That's 45% more new listings coming on the market for February over last year. So that's, you would think that would have an impact on inventory, and it's had very slight impact on inventory. We're at 0.8 months supply. So anyway, 864 listings on the market right now. 62% of sellers in King County set offer review dates. 64% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between February 25th and March 2nd. And a whopping 72% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between February 11th and February 24th.
Wow.
Those are big numbers, 72% in the first 14 days. The other number, 64% within the first 7 days. Those are big numbers for King County. Again, maintaining that strong market. It's not going crazier. It's just staying at the same level of crazy. It's maintaining crazy, but not crazier, if that makes sense. So that's my data for King County. I'm sticking to it. You want to do Pierce?
And
we're going to go late tonight, Dan. It's going to get dark outside. We're really going slow. I'm sorry, it's me. I have a lot to say.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Pierce County is 0.9 months supply of inventory. So maintaining 0.9 months, pretty good. Pierce County has 5% increase in average sales price year over year when comparing February 2023 to February 2024. So strong increase, 5%, worth talking about. 622 listings on the market right now. And so now we've got 25% more listings on the market, more new listings on the market coming. We have 25% more new listings coming on the market in February than we had February 2023. So that's an increase of 25% new listings that came on the market in February 2024 over 2023. So again, pretty big number, right?
That is a big number.
For the increase in number of new listings. So 31% of sellers set offer review dates. 52% of sellers went under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between February 25th and March 2nd. And here's another good number. 57% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed between February 11th and February 24th. So almost 60% for Pierce County in the first 2 weeks. Not a bad number at all. So pretty strong market down there. That one's heating up slowly. And they're finally to the point where you could probably just about start setting offer review dates comfortably and be okay.
Because Pierce usually lags just a little bit behind in the offer review dates. How many was it again this week?
Yeah, only 31% set offer review dates. And by the way, we set one on my listing.
Good to know. How's the door?
I won't tell you why, but we did.
If I may ask, how's the front door on your new listing?
The front door is amazing. It's green. It's not black, but it's green. And green's a good color for this house.
Money green.
Yes. It's actually really pretty. And you know what's nice is it has a handle, not a knob, not a turning knob, but a handle. So it's really pretty. Yeah. So that's the right thing for a front door if you're trying to level up your home. So to get more money for it and to make it feel a little more sophisticated. That's the right thing.
It kind of sounds like, I know we talk about black front doors, but it sounds like whether it's black or some other, just so it's a little darker than the rest of the house. Is that fair?
Sometimes it's just a different color is fair, right? Oh. So it's not the same color as necessarily any other color on your home. Right. It doesn't have to be, white. It used to be that, we would often recommend just paint your door white.
Right.
But, or the accent color on your house. And then we're not really doing that anymore. Black is really good. Just generates, it seems, according to Zillow or NAR, one of those two sources, that you get about $6,500 more for your home if you've got a black front door. And that, of course, is not across the board. Some homes are going to be higher than that. Some homes are going to be lower than that. It's going to depend on the value of your home, where it's located. It could equate to more, frankly, if it adds the right amount of appeal. It could make a huge difference. So, I don't go around telling everybody to paint their front door black. At the same time, I don't think it's a bad idea in the right application. So,
right. You know what has got me really interested in this week's stats?
What's that?
You'll never guess, because I never ask about this, but this week it's preying on my mind. Oh, yeah. Mason County. I'm very interested. I'd like to see, because I think Mason County is starting to spring to life.
Mason County, you guys. Yeah, Mason County's trying to get in the numbers. They're trying hard. I'm always pulling for Mason County. The first 7-day data is just not that great, but they kind of knock it out of the park for the 2-week data. So it's up and down in Mason County. It's a little bit of a roller coaster right now with the statistics, but let's get into it. All right. So 1.8 months supply of inventory in Mason County. What do we got? Oh, so Mason County had an 8% year over year average sales price increase from February 2023 to February 2024. 8%. That's real.
That's a pretty good number.
Seattle Times not going down. Just saying. Article pissed me off. All right. So this number is off. This is a big number there's two big numbers for Mason County this week. 84% more new listings in February of this year versus February last year.
84% more listings?
New listings coming on the market. They had almost twice as many this year as they did last year, up 84%. That hugely impacts their inventory, which could be why their inventory is a little higher than some of the surrounding area. They just had so many new listings hit the market. So
that's a big number of new listings, yeah.
So we have only 78 new listings, or we only have 78 listings in Mason County, because again, it's a lesser populated county, right? So there's not a lot of listings total. So a few listings one way or the other can really jostle the data, to be fair. Only 10% of sellers in Mason County set offer review dates, which is fair given their market right now. Because only 11% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed between March 25th and April 2nd. Did I say that right? No.
Yep.
I said it wrong. No, it's not April. No.
Oh.
11, you guys, 11% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between February 25th and March 2nd. So that's a small number. That was probably when the interest rates ticked up a tad, would be my guess. Yeah. But here's the other big number, right? Yep. So we have 52% of sellers in Mason County got under contract within the first 2 weeks on the market if they listed between February 11th and February 24th. So 52% is a huge number in Mason County. I don't know. Let's see. I do know how many homes were listed. Let's just check the cheat sheet. I love having the cheat sheet next to me. These are my raw numbers here, guys. Okay, so Mason County. So there were nine homes listed on the 7-day data, and only one went under contract. That's why that was 11% for the 7-day data. But for the 2-week data, where we're talking about how many were listed between February 11th and February 24th, that number was actually 23, and 12 of those went under contract within that 14 days. So that is a big number. That's 52% in Mason County. So Mason County, a little up and down, but there are buyers out there.
Yeah,
buyers out there in Mason County. And some of them are just waiting for the next good listing to come on the market. The last week wasn't that active over there. And the last 7 days, let's see. So Mason County had 10 homes come on the market last week, but they had 8 go under contract last week. So actually, last week was pretty good data. So our 7-day data for Mason County next week will look pretty hot. Just guessing.
Oh, good. That's good. Well, let's see here. So we've gone to Mason.
You want to do Skagit, or you want to skip Skagit?
I'd like to get to Skagit, but before we get to Skagit, let's go over to the peninsula. How's that?
Oh, you want to do Kitsap?
I'd like to do Kitsap.
Just trying to keep things interesting for me, Dan.
Yes.
Okay. Kitsap County, 0.9 months supply of inventory.
Less than 1.
So Kitsap County had an 8% average sales price increase from February 2023 to February 2024. That's 8% average sales price increase.
Isn't that what Mason had too?
Mason County also was up 8%. Yeah.
I'm listening.
Hi, guys. Hi, Rick. Hi, Kane. Chris. Okay, so Kitsap County also had an influx of new listings in February this year as opposed to last year. They have 18% more new listings coming on the market this year. So a little less dramatic than King and Snohomish counties. And right. Mason County had 84%. So, all right. We have 163 listings on the market in Kitsap County, so medium-sized county. 35% of sellers in Kitsap County set offer review dates last week. So that number could go up, should go up.
That's a big number for Kitsap.
It is, but given what their market is doing, it should be much higher. That's 35% set offer review dates last week. And when I look at the data the week before that, we've got 60% of sellers that went under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed between February 25th and March 2nd. So clearly, Kitsap County should have a lot more sellers setting offer review dates at this point. Their level of activity is almost up to Snohomish and King County. And so at least 50% of those sellers should be setting offer review dates. Unless they just don't have the house prepared for market. But if it's prepared for market, do it, guys. You'll be rewarded handsomely. So 68% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market in Kitsap County if they listed their house between February 11th and February 24th. So again, 68%, big number for Kitsap County. Those are the biggest numbers for the year so far. Kitsap County kicking ass in the real estate market for sellers. Buyers are getting, buckle up buyers. It's a rough road out there for you guys. But so for Kitsap County, let me just talk to you guys a little bit about how many are going over asking price. So again, this data is 30 to 60 days old, but I want to run it past everybody. For one thing, I've got a seller thinking about listing some homes over in Kitsap County, and I want them to know how many are going over a certain percentage over asking price. So we've got 31% of sellers in Kitsap County that closed, homes that closed in the last 30 days, 31% got over list price. So that's an important number. The maximum amount over list price that a seller got was 21% over asking price. So that's the maximum amount. So they're not nearly as wild as Snohomish and King County, but 21% is still a big number, right?
That's a big number. Yeah.
It is. And so when we're talking about how far over list price they're going, we have 7% that went 5% or more over asking price. So again, 7%, it doesn't sound like much, but when you translate it into that data is 30 to 60 days old. When you start looking at the negotiations that have been going on the last 30 days, that number is going to go way up, way up. So 7% back then, 30 days ago, when they were negotiating 30 to 60 days ago, that's not what it is now. So, and we had 4% back then going over 10% over asking price. So I think, just shows you what the market started to do with the January negotiations, right? So
right.
It started right out the first of the year, hot and heavy with, a number of homes getting under contract with multiple offer situations in January. And I expected this data to come out, but we can't see that for 30 days until they all get closed, right? So,
right.
Anyway, but I just think it's interesting. I, pulled extra data this week just to kind of, get a ballpark as to one, how much the market had gone up year over year, because the January data there's not much of it. So, these lean times of the year when there's not as many data points, it's more difficult to draw direct conclusions. However, when you have median and average data lining up, it can be a lot more meaningful, along with price per square foot. So that's kind of where I was analyzing the data for February this year versus February last year. And I kind of surmised that the market had definitely gone up pretty significantly in most of the counties. So 5% or more.
Is it fair to throw into the conversation a pox on all of you over at the Seattle Times? You were wrong.
On the Seattle Times, but the headline was false.
Yes. That's our inside thing. You
got to pick out somebody once in a while, but
that's right.
It's just the real estate data,
It shouldn't have been as challenging for them as it turned out to be. But
no.
anyway,
I mean, bottom line is, you guys, the market has gone up. It's going up. There's really no two ways about it. There's, it's even with the higher interest rates, there's too much demand, and the demand continues. And as we get towards spring, there's more buyers are moving into the market. More sellers are coming onto the market as well. But the buyers are keeping up demand with the additional sellers. And so we've got this kind of even keel at a crazy state, right? Crazy bidding war state of 60 to 70% of homes getting under contract within the first week on the market, which creates a lot of bidding wars, a lot of anxiety for buyers, and a lot of very unhappy buyers and buyers agents, buyers brokers. So a very stressful situation, and making a lot of sellers in the area extremely grateful that they're able to secure prices higher than what they're asking for. So, but you guys just have to know that there's not a good deal around the corner out there. Don't wait for the market to come down. It's an election year. The government's going to take care of us. I know I shouldn't talk politics. I'm not talking Democratic or Republican. I'm just saying it's an election year. And they want to make sure, the ruling party is going to make sure that the economy is as good as they can control. So they can't control everything, but they definitely have their hand in some of the pots that make a difference when it comes to interest rates, So anyway,
well, and
gas prices, just
it certainly looks like rates are poised to go lower, but we'll
Dan,
see.
I've been hearing that from you for a year. More than a year.
Did you just choke on your water when I said that? I'm trying to time it so you're taking.
I actually dropped a remote from my lighting system. I dropped this. It's just a tiny remote. Controls my lights.
Well,
it's dark early these days. You got to have supplemental lighting.
When you're in the mortgage business, what's on your mind all the time? Lower interest rates, especially nowadays. So what can I say? It's stuck on my brain.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Chris. Hi, Flor. Maria. Hi, Tina. Hi, Lizzie. Hey, guys. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Dan, what do you want to talk about next?
I really want to
talk about negotiating in good faith.
Well, have we talked about Skagit County yet?
No, I thought you wanted to skip Skagit. You want to do Skagit?
Oh, yeah.
I hate to leave Skagit County out of things. I think Skagit County is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I have clients in Skagit County. I have clients in Whatcom County, for that matter. I have clients all over the state.
Well, let's give Skagit a look-see.
All right, let's give Skagit a shout out. Okay, Skagit County. 1.3 months supply of inventory in Skagit County. We had an increase in average sales price in Skagit County of about 7% year over year when comparing February 2023 to February 2024. So that's 7% increase average sales price. Again, substantial. They actually had 31% more new listings come on the market in February this year than February last year. So that is a pretty big increase in inventory, influx of homes this year on the market. So their month supply of inventory is at 1.3. So it's, that's partially explained by the additional listings that came on the market. But they have a pretty good market right now. Right. We've got 108 listings on the market right now. I can't tell if my glasses are straight. Are my glasses straight, you guys? I can't tell.
Oh, yeah, they're straight. Yep.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah. I'm keeping an eye on things. Don't worry.
15% of sellers set offer review dates in Skagit County. That number should probably tick up a bit going forward, but I would hold off until we see solid data for several weeks that supports more offer review dates. Otherwise, you run the risk of running off buyers or scaring buyers and keeping them from seeing your property until that offer review date expires, right? So there's a risk to setting an offer review date, and that's what it is you might turn off some buyers that do not want to compete. So just word to the wise when you're in these areas or a niche where you're not getting enough buyers, enough sellers under contract within the first 7 days. It's a big number to watch for. So for instance, I have to say, Skagit County has definitely risen in the ranks of competing counties. The 58% of sellers in Skagit County got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed between February 25th and March 2nd. Wow. 58%. Wow. In the first 7 days. Skagit. Killing it.
Wow.
Killing it, Dan.
That is a big number for Skagit.
No, that was just 2 weeks ago, right? 7 days ago to 14 days ago. So that's very recent data. Now, the older data has them at 45% of sellers getting under contract within the first 2 weeks on the market. And that's if the seller listed between February 11th and February 24th. That, again, that's older data. The data to look at is the 7-day data, which is 58% got under contract within the first 7 days. Rocking and rolling in Skagit County. Guarantee you multiple offers happening up there. No way that they're missing out on that. So not on every property, but definitely going to be happening. If they really want to create more of that, they're going to need to start setting offer review dates. Again, I might hold off on doing that this next week. Just hang tight. Let's see if the 7-day data kind of hangs in there. It continues. So if it does, then you could start to feel more comfortable setting offer review dates, and the buyers up there will be more okay with it. So
Right.
Anyway, so that's Skagit County, and they got a hot cooking real estate market. At least they did 7 days ago. Let me tell you what they did this last week. Let's just look at that.
What did they do? I'm curious.
Yeah, well, I like to look at last week. So what I do for the last week's data, I pull 0 to 7 days, right? And what I do is I look at exactly how many homes were listed that week, and then how many homes went pending. Not of those ones that were listed, because that's not valid, but how many total went pending. So how much activity there was out there overall in the last 7 days. It's interesting. I just don't usually report on it. But so last week, Skagit County, they had 26 homes listed in the last 7 days. Okay. They had 22 homes go off market. So 22 homes went under contract in the last 7 days. So that's pretty good ratio. So almost as many went under contract as new listings came on the market. So although they're not chewing up inventory, it's almost an even swap.
Right.
So the buyers are sort of like we talked about earlier, Dan. The number of buyers out there in the market are almost matching the number of sellers that are coming on the market. So it creates an inventory situation that doesn't move much either one way or the other.
Yeah. In a lot of respects, that's a good sign. It could be worse. Like you were saying, you're not in a situation now where you're necessarily getting overwhelmed with offers, like 30 or 40 offers, which is almost a Herculean.
That's not necessarily true. There was a house in Kirkland that got 43.
43 offers in Kirkland. Wow.
Yeah. Not this weekend, but the previous weekend.
Oh. Well, then I have to quote.
I don't usually say those numbers to my clients or to people in general, just because I don't want them freaking out, or sellers to expect that. I think realistically, a seller can expect between, in areas like, let's say Kirkland, Bothell, Bellevue, they could expect between, depending on how nice the home is, probably between 5 to 30 offers per listing. If it does have a lot of the shiny object qualities, the modern hardwood flooring, it's priced well, it has an inspection available for the buyers. They've had the sewer scoped. They've got the Form 17 available and all the disclosures available for the buyer to review up front. There's a good chance that they will actually garner a lot of offers. If you don't have some of those other things available for buyers, you're going to get fewer offers, because buyers are going to want to have that inspection before they would make an offer. And there just isn't enough time to have 30 buyers go through a home and have inspections over the weekend. So that would necessarily put a dent in the number of offers you would receive. In King County, if you get farther north in Snohomish County is seeing a lot more, like between 2 and 20, average offers per shiny object. And again, probably almost half the listings out there could be considered shiny objects, 1/3 to 1/2. And they're going to get the majority of the offers, right? And again, they need to have the inspection, the sewer scope, and your Form 17, any disclosures related to the property filled out prior to going on the market, to make sure that you get all the offers that you should receive. So, and
I've got a quick question for you. Something I'd like to talk about is negotiating.
Oh, Dan, do you have a topic?
I do. Negotiating in good faith. That's a big deal when you're doing real estate negotiating in good faith.
Oh, yes. Negotiating in good faith. Yes. That's a big topic.
It's a big topic. It's important, because if you're not negotiating in good faith, bad things happen.
Well, it doesn't make a relationship between the buyer and the seller feel very cooperative, right? It can kind of create more of a battlefield. And so when you don't negotiate in good faith, then it leads the other party to feel like there's some kind of manipulation going on or some kind of other strategy that does not involve just getting your home sold to a legitimate buyer. So, for instance, so negotiating, let me just kind of summarize this really quick. So negotiating in good faith refers to engaging in sincere and honest negotiations with the genuine intent to reach a mutually beneficial agreement between the parties. So it involves acting ethically and honestly and transparently throughout the process. So responsibilities for buyers, good faith entails making reasonable and genuine offers based on market conditions, property value, and their own financial capabilities. So that would be, good faith on the part of buyers. So you want to be accurately representing your financial status, right? So you're disclosing if you're getting a loan, you're disclosing, where the funds are coming from for the down payment and the closing costs. And so that's called negotiating in good faith on the part of the buyer. Now, responsibilities for sellers, and I'm really kind of cutting this whole thing, shortening it up quite a bit, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say here.
Right.
So responsibilities of sellers. So negotiating in good faith for sellers involves presenting their property fairly, honestly, and transparently, disclosing any known defects or issues, and providing accurate information to buyers. Sellers should respond promptly and professionally to all offers. Consider all reasonable offers in good faith and avoid engaging in any discriminatory or unfair practices. So in good faith is a practice that actually it builds trust and rapport between the buyer and the seller, and they don't know each other. They've never met. So the only way they have of communicating is through their agents, their brokers, and also what they put in writing, right? And how they act when they respond. And so, if a buyer puts forth an offer in good faith, they've provided an approval letter with their offer. Maybe they've provided proof of funds for their down payment. They've toured your property. They've reviewed the Form 17. They've done all their due diligence, and they've submitted an offer to a seller and given the seller a realistic deadline. So in some markets, a realistic deadline can be 6 hours. In other markets, a realistic deadline can be a day, right? So in a hotter market like we're in right now, you might consider a realistic deadline as this evening if you can get your offer submitted by 3. If the seller's available to review it, right? That's something that your broker will call the listing broker and say, hey, is your seller available this evening to review an offer? And if they are, you could realistically give them a deadline of 9 p.m. So what feels bad to a buyer, what feels like not negotiating in good faith, is when a seller just ignores an offer. They don't respond to it in any way whatsoever, especially when they're just given a phone call that says that they may get an offer later that day. That's, to me, doesn't feel as much like they're negotiating in good faith. Now, that's just one example, but it really is, it's a timeliness thing. So now if the seller wanted to, they could set an offer review date, right? So they get your offer and they don't want to accept your offer because there's the promise of maybe another one coming. So what you can do in good faith is at that point, the seller says to their listing broker, hey, listen, why is this? No, I don't know why it's saying I'm going to have to end my live. We have detected inactivity in your current live. Complete the verification. Direct puzzle. Okay. Whoops. Unable to verify. Let's do it again. Oops. I don't know how to do this. Put the puzzle piece in place. Hold on, you guys. I don't know what's happening here. There we go. Okay, now I'm back in business. Sorry. I didn't know that TikTok did that. They will like shut you down if they don't think you're really out there. Are you guys not like watching me? Hi. Engagement. Anyway, what I was saying is that it's okay to set, if the seller receives an offer, they find out another offer might come in down the road. If they want to set an offer review date, they talk to their listing broker and they say, listen, we don't want to upset the buyer number one. We want to keep everybody happy. So can we just set an offer review date for, instead of, looking at offers on Monday, which is today, let's just set it for tomorrow at noon. So the other people have a chance to submit if they do want to submit. And then everybody's on an even playing field, because then buyer number one can go back and change their offer if they want, to compete with buyer number two if that offer does show up. So that is a fair way to, negotiate in good faith in that particular situation that I'm talking about. So right. I just kind of, I think people don't think about this negotiating in good faith idea much. And I just wanted to bring the idea out there to the big wide world, because I don't think it's talked about enough. So, and there's a good reason for it. It's to build trust and rapport with the other parties, because we don't all know, nobody knows each other. The buyer knows their broker. Hey, Mr. Fat Tuesday, what seems to be the issue, my man? And the seller knows their listing broker, but the brokers don't know each other in most cases, and the seller and the buyer don't know each other. So the whole goal in this negotiation process is to try to make it work, because buyer wants seller's house. They do. Right. They like it. Right. They want to be making an offer. They really like it. They do. And so the goal is to keep the parties behaving in such a way that it feels like everyone is negotiating in good faith. And that's a tough balance to strike sometimes, especially in this kind of a market where you can have a property that's been on the market for hundreds of days, and all of a sudden you got 3 offers show up. It's hard for buyers to believe it. 2, it's hard for buyers' agents to believe it. 3, it's more difficult to navigate that situation, right? Because now you're not looking at, hey, coming in a little low because we're, compensating for your time on the market. Now you're looking at maybe paying full price or more for a property that's just been sitting there and been shown, how many times? So over months and months and months. So, the whole idea of keeping us all negotiating in good faith is a good thing to keep in mind. So setting that offer review date, even if you've been on the market a couple hundred days, hey, if that's what you got to do to see all the offers that you think are coming in, then hey, do that thing. That's fair. Okay. So just wanted to throw that out there. Thanks for bringing that up, Dan.
Well, it was just a thought that came in randomly out of the blue, and I thought I'd ask you about that.
Dan gets my cheat sheets in advance. See that? That's how he gets all my fancy stats put up on the screen. So, Dan, do you want to talk about another talk? You haven't talked at all today. Can I leave you for the end?
Yeah, feel free. When do you want me to talk?
After the next topic.
Okay. Let's talk about the next topic.
Hi, Mike Cousin. Hi, Italy's finest. Chris Johnson. Hey. Hi, guys. I got to give people hearts, I think TikTok was warning me that I was too idle. I was like, oh, there's no new people watching me. I better watch out. They're going to kick me off my live.
I'm no good at giving out hearts. I'm just not a good, look at my hands. They don't fit that heart.
They don't do the heart thing, Dan?
Not very well. No, right. Not very well.
I'll give out hearts for both of us. Here we go.
It's a shit. There we go.
Facebook, YouTube, hey, TikTok. Okay, guys, I have another topic I want to talk about. If you guys have questions, hey, shoot them over to me, because I'm ready to start answering questions here on TikTok. You guys go ahead and ask me questions. I love your questions. Okay, I have a very important topic. So besides the whole negotiating a good faith thing, which I think should be addressed by designated brokers around the area. Just giving you ideas for your meetings, guys. I also think that we should talk about the different ways for sellers to think about how they should review offers. Just ponying right off my last story. So sellers have several ways that they can think about how they want to review offers. So number one would be you review offers upon receipt. So what that means is you list your home, you mark the box, review offers upon receipt. Buyers will schedule appointments through showing time, show up, tour your home, follow up by asking for maybe the seller procured inspection or seller procured sewer scope and Form 17 if you have those available. And then they will proceed, if they like everything they've seen, they'll proceed to write an offer and submit that offer to you. And then as a seller, you can just respond. You have a certain length of time before the offer expires, and you can review that offer with your agent, hopefully before the expiration of that offer. If you can't physically do that within that time frame, you can let the buyer's agent know that, hey, we're going to review it tomorrow morning. My seller is already asleep. They're in London, and so there's no way we're going to get to it tonight, but we will just change the expiration. You guys can initial it tomorrow, and we'll play ball tomorrow morning. So that's one way you can handle that. At the same time, if you did wind up with getting a couple of offers that first week on the market, you might wind up with multiple offer situations if they came in simultaneously, right? There's not a lot of ways to get over asking price if you're listing your home and reviewing offers upon receipt. So another way that you can list your home for reviewing offers is to review offers upon the offer you're going to set an offer review date, right? So when you set an offer review date, you list your home on the list date, which would be a Wednesday or Thursday, more than likely. Thursday is usually statistically a stronger day to list your home. And then you let buyers schedule their appointments through showing time and view your home, tour your home over the weekend, probably while you've had a couple of open houses, right? Because you want to increase access for buyers that want to see your home while it's available to tour. So before the offer review date, which would then be set the following Monday or Tuesday, with Tuesday being the optimum date statistically for most areas. So you list your house on Thursday, allow buyers to tour it through Monday into Tuesday, and the offers would be due then Tuesday, let's say at noon, arbitrarily. So, and then at that point, how many buyers wrote offers they'll submit by Tuesday at noon, and then you and your listing broker will sit down and review the offers that were received during that time frame. Most brokers will wait to submit their offer the last minute so that the listing broker can't use one of the offers to tell the other agents what it was so that they'll pay more kind of situation and start leveraging. So most agents will wait to submit to the last hour or two before they're due. So in addition, in that situation, when you're trying to solicit more than one offer, most sellers, you're going to want to provide a seller procured inspection, a seller procured sewer scope, if that's applicable. If it's not applicable, then a septic pumping and inspection report, if that's applicable by your county. And then also your filled out disclosures, including your Form 17, available to the buyer at their request, so that they can take a look at those things and make a solid offer based on that information and not necessarily have to have an inspection. So that's the two main ways of reviewing offers. There's a third alternative, and I wanted to go over this.
This is the one I've been waiting for.
Yeah, so you guys, there's a third way to handle this situation because we're kind of in a flux in a lot of areas right now in the different counties, right? There are certain areas of Snohomish County that may not be as hot as other areas in Snohomish County. And the same can be said for King County and the other counties as well. So if the market feels a little squishy in your niche, so it doesn't have to be that let's say you're in Bothell, but you've got an unusual property with a steep driveway and maybe some views, but the steep driveway is going to run off most of the people, most of the buyers. You may or may not, even though Bothell probably has, 60, 70% of sellers getting under contract within the first 7 days, and maybe even be higher for Bothell because it's a very hot market there, hotter than some of the rest of King County. So I didn't pull Bothell specifically, but I'm guessing if you list a house in Bothell, you're almost guaranteed that sale that first 7 days, unless you have something inherently wrong with the property. or you've missed the mark price-wise, or you didn't do your seller procured inspection. So, but if you're in an area that you're not sure whether setting an offer review date is the right thing to do, so you're either the listing broker or you're the seller, and you just don't know that you want to take that chance of running off some buyers because they might not want to compete to put an offer in on your listing, you can test the temperature of the market. And this is how I suggest doing this. And I've just implemented this past week. You can list your house, review offers upon receipt. Then you can go ahead, have buyer agents schedule tours over the first couple of days on the market, schedule 2 open houses for the weekend, 1 for Saturday, 1 for Sunday, as long as you can keep them open to allow easy access for buyers in there. 2 hours is a minimum. And then you're going to see what the activity is from the buyers that have the buyers agents that went through there that Thursday and Friday. And then you're going to talk to the buyers and the buyer agents that go through on Saturday during that first open house to see how they're feeling about the property. If there are relevant questions, like are they requesting the inspection report, the Form 17? And if those kinds of questions start coming up and you get a feeling Friday or Saturday that, we might get more than one offer here, the seller and the listing broker can go ahead, set an offer review date for that following Monday, Tuesday. Let the agents know that have been through the home already that we've now set an offer review date. And that opens it up to be fair for everyone without, hurting anyone's feelings or not negotiating in good faith. So, we want to keep everybody feeling positive through this process, even if it's a competition. It feels really bad for buyers. So, but that is one way to take the temperature of the market to see whether you should be setting an offer review date if you're worried that this particular property might not warrant that. Right. So there you have it, guys. That's Kat's take on taking the temperature of the market. And honestly, you guys, your listing broker is going to call, at least I would, call the other brokers that just sold homes over the previous weekend, that just went under contract the previous weekend, to find out what the activity was. What was the activity in the open houses? What did the negotiations look like? How many offers did they get? Did they get 5? Did they get 2? Did they get 1 solid offer? And that's going to help you figure out whether you should set an offer review date or not. And if you still can't figure that out based on that information, then you take the temperature of the market the way I described and go ahead and come on the market as reviewing offers upon receipt, and then setting that offer review date later if it looks like your property warrants that. So I know that's a lot for me to say, but I hope you guys followed me. Hi, Andy. Hi, Chris. Hi, Dale.
Oh, gosh. Well,
so, what do you got for me? I mean, I talked a lot. I think I talked for over an hour, Dan.
Well,
I did a lot of talking, guys. Sorry.
No. So, well, I will say this.
What?
Because if interest rates start coming down, right, it's gonna be. We've been talking about this for months, that it's going to be a tight market, and if interest rates keep coming down, or they begin to measurably come down more than what we've gotten already, it's the market is going to remain very tight, right? And so I think you're going to be in a situation, I've come across it recently, and that is building your own home and just deciding, hey, look, I've got, the houses we're looking at, we've got 20 offers on this house, right? And it just wears you out. You're not getting exactly what you're looking for. Maybe you end up, if you're looking for something specific, like, I don't know, something that's got a view of the water, for example. That's kind of nice, or maybe you've got something that's got a view. It is. It's nice to have a view of the water. It's very, very soothing,
You're just making me think of a client that I've got right now, Dan.
Well, no, I'm just thinking in general,
Generally speaking.
Generally speaking, it's very soothing to look at the water, right? So, I take a walk down the block just so I can overlook and look down on Lake Washington. I'm up here in the the slums of Newcastle that I live in. So, but it is nice to be able to look over at Lake Washington, and it's pretty nice. And but by the same token, there may be certain things that you just really want to have in your house that you can't, you just can't find on the market right now. It's just
Right.
it's
You can't find it in a retail for whatever reason.
whatever
That
reason.
house isn't coming up in that price range with those particular amenities that you were hoping to find. So
That's right.
yeah, another
That's
strategy can be looking at, finding a lot to build on and finding a builder to build that home that you want, your dream home on that lot. There are a number of strategies we can utilize to find those lots. So we can look at expired listings and canceled listings for vacant land. Those will often be overpriced, but not to say that those people wouldn't still consider selling. And I do believe that it's fair to pay a little bit too much for a view property if it's the one that you want. If it's a view that you want, then you can probably justify 50 or 75 too much, an extra 20%, right? Because you're going to get a house built on there that is exactly what you want. And, and you're going to get the location that you want. So I think you have to think in terms of that when you're in a market like this. So, because if you go to compete, you're going to could be paying 10 to 20% over for a view home as well.
Well, I mention this because there are actually two main different ways, if this makes sense, to actually finance a new construction home. People don't really realize this, but there's more than one way to finance it.
Right? I want to hear it, Dan. Tell me the two ways to finance a new construction.
Well, there's more but two big ways, right?
Tell me your two ways.
My two ways. There's two big ways. One is the traditional route where you go and get a construction loan from a lender, right? And there are a lot of lenders out there. I work with, I can name a bunch. Hoso Mortgage, Flagstar, Washington Fed locally. There's a number of different lenders that we can use, right? And that's for a home, what they call a one-time close. In other words, you have a construction loan that you take out in your name, and basically you go through the whole process of getting the permits done. Everything's on you as the homeowner. Look at Mr. Fat Tuesday. He's in the picture now.
Fat Tuesday's joining us live. He's all that. MFT.
You set up the budget, you hire the contractor, you do everything soup to nuts, right? And you end up with the property that's perfect, exactly what you're looking for. Hopefully it's perfect, exactly what you're looking for. But that's one way to do it. The issue with that is the financial onus is on you, right? You're the person that's got his or her name on the loan documents, right? It's right there. It's a construction loan, right?
Yeah.
The other way you can do it is you can hire a contractor. Now you're going to hire a contractor either way, but you can hire a contractor and have him build it for you and put that up. And then when they're done, so that the contractor has all of the, basically, I hate to put it this way, but the liability aspect of things kind of falls, you do it that way, on the builder's shoulder. And then you buy it direct from the builder. The advantage to that is that the construction loans, if you do it yourself, the rates are a little bit higher. And it's, and what if you have some cost overruns? You end up with some, I don't know, you order some doors from someplace and they're overseas and they take forever to get here and all that kind of stuff, right? Who pays for that?
You're suggesting that the contractor or the builder get their own construction loan for your home that you're going to put on your lot.
That's right. And so what
some builders are open to doing that. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. And so what ends up happening is that the builder buys it and we finance it. Okay, we do both. We can go either way.
So you're flexible, Dan, is what you're trying to say, with this whole new construction loan.
Very, very
Very
flexible when very
good.
flexible. We can do the one-time close for the borrowers. We can also do what they call a construction loan for the builders.
So
And
what
so
about the land? Can you do a loan on the land? Have
yes,
the and then what's the 20% down, 25% down? What's the if you just have the land by itself and then they go out and find a builder later, what minimum percentage down can they get away with sometimes?
usually it's a higher percentage down. It truly is.
Right. Is it like
50%, 40,
40%? I mean,
40%.
50%.
That's right. And
So you're looking
so
at a $400,000 lot, you get $200,000 down, and then you go out, you find yourself a builder. And there's a number of ways to source builders too, just like there are a number of ways to source vacant lots.
right,
So you can I can contact as a realtor, I can contact the local builders that have plats in process and see if the builder is willing to do a spec home essentially. Maybe
right.
even you would like, maybe the buyer would like one of the lots or one of the homes, one of the floor plans that the builder already is building on a routine basis. And maybe that would streamline the permitting process for you on your new construction. So maybe cut out some time that it would take to get
Wait,
everything through the county.
that's right. And if you've got a busy schedule, I got to tell you, one of the tricky parts of the whole process is permitting, right? I mean, you got to put the specs together, plans, all that kind of stuff, get the permits taken care of, all that kind of stuff. And if you're somebody that's doing this most folks only will build a new house for themselves once in their life. Right? I mean, it's normal. And so, if you're doing it once in your life, it's a lot more difficult to learn like a new instrument once than to play it over and over again, right? So if you're contacting a builder, they've done this all before, and it's fairly easy for them to do. Well,
Yes. They're going to
it,
be able to handle the process a lot faster than a homeowner would trying to be their own general
that's
contractor on
right.
a project. I mean, I will say it's going to cost you more money to have a builder handle the whole project for you, but it will be a lot less. There will be a lot less headaches, and it will go much quicker. I have had friends who have tried to be general contractors on building their own home, and it takes them probably twice as long.
It does, and
I have one friend who did it twice. Not a good idea.
it was,
They're
and the
very
thing is,
stressed and not a fun friend while they're building the house and they're being the general. So
yes,
leave that to professionals. Just saying.
well, no, but it's true because that's where you hear all the horror stories when people are,
That is
you
when
know,
you're trying to be your own general. That's really where the problems come in. I mean, builders know what the heck they're doing. Let
that's
the
right.
let the professional handle their job. Yeah, they're going to make money. That's how they earn a living.
That's
To the
right. It is
rest.
what it is. You know what? They are gonna. It is gonna be most of the time, not all the time. It is gonna be a little bit more expensive to have the GC do it. Do it and then sell it to you. That's true.
Yes.
But you're walking. It's easier to qualify, and especially, I will say this, especially for jumbo loans. So if you're building something over in Kirkland or Bellevue, okay, it's going to be infinitely easier to do that than to try and do it all yourself. Just saying, it's going to be much easier. The terms are going to be, it's going to be a much smoother process,
Right.
and you're going to get it at the end of the day. You're going to get a home that's less expensive than if, let's say, you're going to a home builder right now. I mean, when I say home builder, let's say they're building a big plat or something like that. And I shouldn't say this, but it's usually true that the most expensive of them all is going to be buying a brand new home from a home builder. Then it would be doing some sort of custom with a general contractor with the GC.
I think
And that,
custom don't cut. And I'm just gonna let me ask you a question. I mean, I feel like custom homes are usually generally more expensive than if you're buying from a builder in a plat.
well,
Because
it
like
depends.
the plat, when I look at the home prices in plats, if it's a pretty good sized plat, they're often put downward pressure on nearby resale housing. That's often the case. And we have to be very careful when we're listing resales near new construction that we're not exceeding their pricing. unless we really have some cool things that are going to be better than the new construction, like maybe a really good sized lot. But, custom homes, I feel like, are usually quite expensive, and you might not be walking into that instant equity. I feel like with new construction in plats, you almost are kind of baked in the cake that you're going to get a little bit of equity within the first year. But
that's
am I
true.
wrong, Dan? Am I thinking about that wrong?
Well, I think a lot of it depends on the type of home that you build. And I'm just going off of experience here that we're talking. But the type of home that you build, the GC that you're working with, and taking a look at basically what the market is, and then being able to put together the budget that you're working with with the GC and figure out how much it's gonna end up costing you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you make a great point, because it does depend. If you're looking at a plat that's got quite a few homes on the plat, that's probably a difference. I was thinking of a different situation than what you brought up. So my apologies for that. But I think you're probably
Well, I
correct.
mean, just when I look at custom homes, but custom homes are often on like a bigger lot, like 1.2 acres, or half acre, as opposed to the little 4,000 square foot lot that you get in a big plat.
That's right.
So there is the trade-off too of the smaller lot size, which is almost unusable land, when it comes to
Well,
get down to
and then,
4,000 square foot lots and smaller. That really gets to be, it's almost hard to justify buying a lawnmower.
well, and yes, that's right. Because you buy some hand clippers for some of the lawns, right? I mean, but at the end of the day, if you are building something that's, like you say, on an acre, acre and a half, 2 acres, um, that it does make a lot of sense to at least explore working with the GC. It really does,
Yeah.
to go that route. And then when you're, and I will say this, if you're looking at a bigger home, like what we just talked about, on an acre and a half, an acre, 2 acres, whatever, and you're building a nice dream home on it, it's much easier to set up the financing to just walk into the home, as opposed to financing the whole construction part of it. Because the
So
bigger
to
you go,
find a builder that is willing to finance his own construction costs and then roll that into the cost for you at the end of the day.
that's correct. And it just
So there's going to be a cost to that, guys. It's not free, but Dan's saying that they'll get a better interest rate, right? And it's easier to qualify.
because it's just like qualifying normal, right? You're just qualifying for whatever loan that let's say a jumbo loan. You could do a jumbo loan real easy. You'll have it set up ahead of time, because you're working directly with the general contractor, and you just walk right into your home. There's a lot less stress involved with it,
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's just something. It's a consideration. It's something that is worth looking into. If you are looking to purchase, to build your own home. We do both, but we do one-time closes.
Next mortgage. Next
Yes.
mortgage, Dan Mellis. All kinds of loan programs for all kinds of situations, Airbnbs, you name it, they've got a loan for it. So
that is one. I would say this in our favor as a company. I'm trying not to, overly push us too much, or anything, but we do literally have over 250 lenders. And hang on here.
Is that you getting a call, Dan? Look at us
is.
generating you a phone call while we're on our live.
It is, and I'm like, oh, I better get back to this one.
They want a new construction loan for a property they want to build on some vacant land.
I'm glad we went live on Facebook. It seems to have worked. So, but I did think it's an idea that's worth taking a look at. If you are, if you're getting to the point where you're frustrated trying to buy a new home, you're, and let's face it, if you're going 30% over asking price, that's not a cheap option either. Right?
No, and you guys, and that's a good point that Dan just makes. So we, in my mind, I always think it costs a little bit more by the time you buy the lot. You're buying a premium lot. You're maybe paying the builder for some development costs there, some feasibility studies, and then you're paying, a builder retail to build you a new home. I always feel like there might be some additional costs there that you wouldn't have when you're going to buy a resale. The thing about it is, though, is that in this market, you're likely going to be competing for that view property or that similar like kind home. And so are you going to wind up paying 20 to 30% more, 10 to 30% over asking price? And would that be absorbed within having the cost of the new construction and the additional for maybe the right lot, and things like that. So anyway, things to consider, when you're out there shopping.
It's worth thinking. And what I'm really just trying to do is bring up alternatives, because I really feel for the buyers that are out there trying to buy a house. And, I'm trying to open up minds a little bit, because if you are trying to compete with somebody that's paying $200,000 over asking price, that's
a lot of fudge factor.
That's a lot of money that you can buy a house.
Put towards a new construction and then get exactly what you want or close to what you want. With the caveat being, you got to wait for it. That's the only hard part.
That is, you do have to wait for it. Anyway, it's an idea, and if it's something that you want to kick around a little bit and want to look at what some of the financing options are, we do have those options available. So, be happy to have that discussion if it does come up. So
Dan's the guy. Call Dan Mellis, Nexa Mortgage.
Well, I do. We do our best. But I think on that note,
are we wrapping it up, Dan?
I think I'm getting this signal from my producer. He's giving me the wrap up signal.
He is? Yes, well, I got to tell you, we've been live for over 90 minutes. Like, I got a notification we've been live for over 90 minutes. And then TikTok says you should take a break. Like, well, I can't get ready for these lives every day, you guys. It takes a lot of work to get to this. So we don't do this every day. We try to do it on Mondays. We try to shoot for 4:00. Sometimes we make 5, but now that the days are longer, hopefully 4 or 5 o'clock will still work. It's starting to get a little shadowy on me right now, but we try to do these on Mondays, guys. All things stats and real estate. Kat and Dan, all things lending, Dan. Getting a little rummy here. I think, isn't it a happy hour somewhere?
Well, I think that's what my producer wanted to.
Your producer? What about my producer?
my producer he was saying, "Hey, Danny, it's a happy hour, and can you wrap it up?" And I said, "I'll do my best. I'll do my best that I can for you." So, all
right.
But anyway,
I guess we got to call it good, guys. Thank you guys on TikTok so much for watching. I'm going to sign off. Thanks. Hearts to everybody. Love you guys. Okay.
And I'm ending the stream.
And now.